Hello everyone and welcome to Grow Through English channel. Before we start, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss an episode. Have you noticed how hard it has become to sit with your thoughts these days? Maybe you open your phone for 1 minute, then suddenly 40 minutes disappear. Maybe you tell yourself you'll watch one video, but it turns into 10. Maybe you feel tired all day, distracted all day, unmotivated all day. And even when you rest, your mind still feels noisy, like it never really slows down. And the weirdest part is that even after all that scrolling, watching, snacking, checking, clicking, you still don't feel satisfied. You just feel empty for a while. Then your brain wants more again. More stimulation, more entertainment, more something. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And you're probably not lazy either. What you might be dealing with is dopamine addiction. And most people don't even realize it's happening to them. Dopamine is talked about everywhere now, but many people misunderstand it. People call it the happiness chemical. But dopamine is less about happiness and more about wanting. It's the feeling that pulls you towards something rewarding. It's what makes you reach for your phone when you hear a notification. What makes you keep scrolling even when you're not enjoying it anymore. What makes your brain whisper, maybe one more. Maybe the next video will be better. Maybe the next refresh will give you something exciting. Dopamine is powerful because it creates anticipation. Your brain doesn't just like rewards, it likes expecting rewards. And that expectation can become addictive very fast. That's why modern life feels like a dopamine machine. Social media apps are built for it. Short videos are built for it. Junk food is built for it. Online shopping is built for it. Even notifications are built for it. Everything around you is competing for your attention because attention is valuable. And dopamine is what keeps your brain chasing. You scroll because maybe something interesting is next. You check messages because maybe someone texted you. You refresh because maybe something new is waiting. And because the reward is unpredictable, your brain gets even more hooked. It becomes a cycle. And the cycle gets stronger every day without you noticing. The problem is not dopamine itself. Dopamine is natural. You need it. It helps you feel motivated, excited, driven. The real problem starts when your brain gets overloaded with too much easy dopamine all the time. Too many quick rewards, too much stimulation, too much entertainment with zero effort. Then your brain adapts. It gets used to high stimulation. And once that happens, normal life starts to feel boring. Really boring. Suddenly, reading feels difficult. Studying feels painful. Work feels exhausting. Sitting quietly feels uncomfortable. Even resting feels strange because your mind expects constant input. Constant sound, constant movement, constant entertainment. And this is where many people get confused. They say, why can't I focus anymore? Why am I so lazy lately? Why do I feel bored all the time? Why can't I enjoy simple things anymore? But often the problem isn't laziness, it's overstimulation. Your brain has become so used to fast rewards that slower rewards don't feel exciting anymore. And unfortunately, most meaningful things in life are slow rewards. Building confidence is slow. Learning a skill is slow. Healing is slow. Reading a book is slow. Exercise is slow. Real progress is slow. But your brain now wants immediate reward. It wants something quick, something easy, something now. And when it doesn't get it, it feels restless. That restlessness is why boredom feels painful now. Years ago, boredom used to create creativity. People sat with their thoughts more. They stared out windows. They went on walks without checking a screen every 2 minutes. Their brains had space. But now boredom gets filled instantly. The second boredom appears, the phone comes out. The second silence arrives, music starts. The second discomfort appears, distraction begins. And because we remove boredom so quickly, our brain forgets how to tolerate it. And that's dangerous because boredom isn't the enemy. Boredom is often the beginning of creativity, deep thought, reflection, and emotional recovery. But dopamine addiction trains your brain to run from it. And here's the scary part. Dopamine addiction doesn't always feel dramatic. Sometimes it feels normal because everyone around you is doing it too. Everyone is checking their phone every few minutes. Everyone is multitasking. Everyone is half listening while also scrolling. Everyone says they can't focus like they used to. It becomes so common that it feels normal. But common doesn't mean healthy. If your attention feels broken, if your motivation disappears quickly, if simple tasks feel harder than before, if silence feels uncomfortable, your brain might be overstimulated without you even realizing it. Sometimes the biggest sign is this. Things that used to feel enjoyable no longer feel enough. 5 minutes on your phone becomes an hour. One snack becomes more snacks. One video becomes endless scrolling. Because it's not about enjoyment anymore. It becomes chasing. And every time the burst fades, your brain looks for the next one. That's why you can feel entertained all day and still feel unsatisfied at night. You feel like you're losing control over your own attention. Your body moves before your mind decides. That's when habits become automatic. And automatic habits are powerful because they happen before you even notice them. But the good news is this: your brain can recover. Your focus can recover. Your motivation can recover. You are not stuck like this forever. The brain adapts in both directions. It can learn to enjoy slower things again. The first step to changing anything is noticing it. And that sounds simple, but it changes everything. Then suddenly, time disappears. You don't always watch another episode because you're enjoying it that much, because a lot of dopamine addiction is not chasing pleasure. It's escaping discomfort. Sometimes we reach for stimulation because we're bored. Sometimes because we feel lonely. Sometimes because we feel stressed. Sometimes because we feel anxious and we don't want to sit with the feeling. The video helps, the scrolling helps, but only for a little while. It learns that every uncomfortable emotion should be escaped immediately. But emotions are not emergencies. Boredom is not an emergency. Silence is not an emergency. Loneliness is not an emergency. Stress is not an emergency. Yet many of us treat them like they are. The second we feel even slightly uncomfortable, we run towards stimulation. And because we never stay with the feeling long enough, we never build tolerance for it. We never teach our brain that it can survive it. That's why many people today feel uncomfortable doing simple, quiet things. Sitting in a waiting room without checking a phone feels hard. Walking without headphones feels strange. Eating without watching something feels boring. Studying for 20 minutes feels exhausting. Falling asleep without scrolling feels impossible. And it's not because your brain is broken. It's because your brain has been trained to expect constant stimulation. Every few seconds. Think about how often your attention gets interrupted in one day. Notifications, messages, videos, ads, sounds, emails, music, app switching, checking, refreshing, replying. Your attention keeps getting pulled in different directions. And attention works like a muscle. The more it gets interrupted, the harder it becomes to hold focus. Then eventually, deep focus starts feeling uncomfortable because your brain is no longer used to staying with one thing long enough. This is why many people say they miss the old version of themselves. They say things like, "I used to read books for hours. I used to focus better. I used to be more creative. I used to feel more patient." And maybe they're right, because creativity often lives on the other side of boredom. Focus often grows in silence. Patience grows in waiting. But constant dopamine doesn't leave much room for boredom, silence, or waiting. It fills every empty space before something deeper can happen. And here's something important. Quick dopamine is not always bad. Watching something fun isn't bad. Eating dessert isn't bad. Playing games isn't bad. Social media itself isn't evil. The issue is not using these things. The issue is depending on them. When they stop being something you enjoy and start becoming something you need just to feel okay. That's when the relationship changes. Ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you sat with no screen, no music, no conversation, just your thoughts for 10 full minutes? For many people, that feels harder than it should, not because they have nothing to think about, but because their mind has become uncomfortable with stillness. The moment silence appears, the urge to fill it appears too. But healing starts in those quiet spaces, because when you stop feeding your brain endless stimulation, something interesting happens at first. It feels uncomfortable, very uncomfortable, boring, restless, irritating. You feel like grabbing your phone every few minutes. Your brain starts asking for the reward it's used to. It wants the scroll, the snack, the video, the quick hit. And when it doesn't get it, it complains. This doesn't mean you're failing. It actually means your brain is resetting. And that reset can feel boring before it feels peaceful. A lot of people quit here because they think boredom means something is wrong. But boredom can be part of recovery. It can be your nervous system slowing down, your attention rebalancing, your brain learning not to depend on constant stimulation every second. Then, after some time, your baseline begins to shift. Simple things start feeling enjoyable again. Music sounds richer, food tastes better. Conversations feel more present, walking feels calming, Reading becomes easier. Your mind feels less noisy. You stop needing 10 things at once just to feel entertained. And slowly, your attention returns. Your patience returns. Your ability to be present returns. You start feeling like yourself again, and maybe even a version of yourself you haven't met in a long time. This doesn't happen overnight. Your brain adapted over time, and it resets over time too, which is why small changes matter more than dramatic ones. You don't need to disappear into the mountains for 30 days. You don't need to throw away your phone. You don't need to become a robot with zero fun. You just need to reduce the constant noise enough for your brain to breathe again. Sometimes that starts with touching your phone for the first 30 minutes after waking up. Instead of instantly checking messages or scrolling, you let your mind wake up slowly. You drink water. You sit quietly. You stretch. You look outside. You give your brain a calm beginning instead of an overload. Sometimes it means not using your phone while eating, so your brain learns how to do one thing at a time again. Sometimes it means going on a walk without headphones. Sometimes it means letting yourself feel bored without immediately fixing it. Sometimes it means putting your phone in another room while you work. Sometimes it means noticing the urge and not obeying it immediately. That tiny pause is powerful because the pause reminds you that you are choosing, not reacting, choosing. And the more you practice that pause, the stronger your attention becomes. Your dopamine system doesn't need perfection. It needs space. Space to settle, space to rest, space to reset. And once it gets that space, everything begins to feel clearer. Because when your mind isn't constantly chasing the next hit of stimulation, it finally has enough quiet to hear what it actually needs. One of the biggest lies dopamine addiction tells you is that more stimulation will make you feel better. But usually it does the opposite. It promises relief, excitement, escape, but what it often leaves behind is mental exhaustion. You keep feeding your brain more and more, yet somehow you feel less satisfied. More scrolling, less focus. More entertainment, less peace. More noise, less clarity. More stimulation, less enjoyment. And that's why many people feel tired even when they haven't physically done much. Their body may be resting, but their brain has been running all day. You wake up and your mind is already busy. Notifications, messages, videos, thoughts, sounds, content. Before the day even begins, your attention is being pulled in 10 different directions. And by the evening, you feel drained. Not because you worked too hard, but because your brain never got a moment of stillness. No silence, no pause, no room to breathe. That kind of tiredness feels different. It's not sleepiness, it's mental heaviness. Like your brain is full but unsatisfied at the same time. Like you consumed so much, yet nothing really stayed with you. You watched, scrolled, clicked, checked, but afterward it all feels blurry. And then your brain asks for more anyway. This is where many people confuse being overstimulated with being unmotivated. They say, I don't feel motivated anymore. But often it's not that motivation disappeared. It's that your brain's reward system is exhausted. When your brain gets too much fast dopamine, everyday effort starts feeling less appealing. And effort is required for almost everything meaningful. Learning a language takes effort. Building discipline takes effort. Working on your goals takes effort. Creating something takes effort. Exercising takes effort. Being fully present in a conversation takes effort. But compared to quick digital rewards, those things feel slower. And slower can feel harder when your brain is used to instant reward. That's why even when you know what you should do, doing it feels heavy. You want to study, but your phone feels easier. You want to read, but scrolling feels easier. You want to sleep early, but one more video feels easier. You want to focus, but distractions feel stronger. And then you blame yourself. You call yourself lazy, undisciplined, unproductive. But maybe what you actually need isn't more guilt. Maybe what you need is a reset. A real reset. Not punishment, not extreme restriction, just a reset. A chance for your brain to come back to balance. And the beautiful thing is that balance starts with small things, very small things. For example, boredom. Boredom can actually become your superpower again if you let it. The next time you're waiting in line, try not reaching for your phone immediately. The next time you feel bored, sit with it for a minute. Just notice it. Let it exist. Because boredom is often the doorway to something deeper. It's where thoughts rise up. Ideas appear, emotions surface. Creativity wakes up. But if every tiny gap gets filled instantly with stimulation, you never reach that deeper place. Another powerful reset is doing one thing at a time. Modern life teaches the opposite. Watch while eating, scroll while talking, reply while listening, study while checking notifications, rest while watching something, everything at once. But your mind wasn't built for endless divided attention. There's something powerful about doing one thing fully. Eating without a screen, walking without checking messages, listening without multitasking, working with your phone away from you, reading without switching apps every 2 minutes. At first it feels slow, then it starts feeling peaceful, then eventually it feels natural, and your attention begins rebuilding itself. Sleep matters too, more than people think. Many dopamine habits get strongest late at night. You're tired, your discipline is low, your brain wants easy reward. So you scroll longer than you planned. One video becomes 20. Suddenly it's late, your sleep gets shorter, and the next day your brain feels even more tired, which makes you crave even more dopamine because you want quick energy and stimulation. Then the cycle repeats. Protecting your sleep helps break that loop. Even something simple like putting your phone away 30 minutes before sleeping can make a difference. Those quiet minutes before sleep matter. They tell your brain the day is slowing down. They help your nervous system settle. And over time, they make rest feel deeper. Something else worth remembering is this. Recovery doesn't mean your urges disappear immediately. You may still feel like checking your phone. You may still crave quick stimulation. You may still feel bored or restless sometimes. That doesn't mean it's not working. It means you're human. The goal isn't to never feel urges. The goal is not letting every urge control your next action. To notice the impulse and create space before responding. To feel the boredom and stay. To feel the craving and pause. To feel the discomfort and not run instantly. That pause is where your power comes back. And every time you practice it, even for 10 seconds, you strengthen something inside yourself. Because dopamine addiction often feels like losing control of attention. Recovery feels like slowly getting that control back. One choice at a time. One pause at a time. One quiet moment at a time. And maybe the most beautiful part of all, this is what returns when the noise gets quieter. You start noticing little things again. The taste of your coffee, the sound of rain outside, a calm morning, a meaningful conversation, the satisfaction of finishing something difficult. The peace of not checking your phone for a while and realizing you didn't miss anything important. Simple pleasures become enough again, and enough is a powerful feeling. Because when enough feels enough, life feels lighter. You stop chasing every quick reward. You stop needing constant entertainment to fill every second. You become more present in your own life. And maybe for the first time in a while, your mind feels like it belongs to you again. If you've been feeling distracted lately, restless lately, unable to focus, bored all the time, mentally tired for no clear reason, be gentle with yourself. Your brain isn't broken. It may just be overstimulated. And overstimulation can heal. Your attention can come back. Your peace can come back. Your focus can come back. Your ability to enjoy simple things can come back. Slowly, quietly, one small change at a time. And maybe the reset you need isn't adding more into your life. Maybe it's removing some of the noise. So tonight, maybe spend a few minutes without reaching for something. No scrolling, no checking, no background noise. Just sit, breathe. Let your brain be bored for a little while. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but on the other side of that discomfort, you may find something you haven't felt in a long time. Clarity, peace, and your attention coming home again. And maybe this is the part nobody talks about enough. What dopamine addiction quietly steals from you is not just focus. It steals presence. It steals your ability to fully be where you are. You can be sitting with people you care about and still not really be there. Your body is in the room, but your attention is somewhere else. Checking, waiting, wanting the next thing. You can finish an entire meal and barely taste it because your eyes were on a screen. You can watch hours of content and remember almost none of it. You can go through a whole day feeling busy, stimulated, occupied, and still feel like you didn't actually live any of it. That's the hidden cost. Not just lost time, but lost moments. Small moments that would have felt meaningful if your mind had been present enough to notice them. A laugh in a conversation, the wind during a walk, the quiet feeling of early morning, the satisfaction of finishing one task with full attention. These moments seem small, but they're where life actually happens. And when your attention is constantly being pulled away, life starts feeling faster, blurrier, emptier. That's why recovering your attention is bigger than productivity. It's not only about getting more done, it's about feeling your own life again while you're living it. It's about being able to sit with someone and truly listen, to read without your mind running away every 30 seconds, to work deeply on something meaningful, to rest without needing distraction to feel okay, to enjoy silence without feeling like something is missing. And yes, at first it feels strange. When you reduce stimulation, the world can feel quieter than you're used to, sometimes too quiet. Your hand reaches for your phone automatically. Your mind says, check something, play something, open something, do something, anything, because stillness feels unfamiliar. But unfamiliar doesn't mean bad. It often means you're entering a space you haven't given yourself in a long time. And inside that space, your mind begins to settle. Not immediately, but gradually. The noise lowers. Your thoughts become less rushed. Your attention stays longer. Your nervous system softens. And suddenly, simple things feel enough again. You laugh harder at a real conversation. You enjoy music more deeply. Food tastes better when you actually taste it. Rest feels like rest instead of background scrolling. A walk feels calming instead of incomplete without a screen. And one day you notice something surprising. You're not reaching for your phone as much, not because you forced yourself not to, but because you don't need it in the same way anymore. That's real change. When the craving loses power, when the pause gets easier, when your attention starts belonging to you again. And this doesn't require perfection. You don't need to completely disappear from the internet. You don't need to live with zero technology. You don't need to remove every enjoyable thing from your life. This isn't about punishment. It's about awareness, balance, choice, using dopamine instead of being used by it, enjoying pleasure without depending on it, using your phone without it controlling your attention, watching something fun without losing 3 hours unconsciously, resting without endless stimulation attached to it, living with technology but not being owned by it. Because the real goal isn't becoming more productive every second of the day. The real goal is freedom. Freedom to choose what gets your attention. Freedom to focus when you want. Freedom to rest when you want. Freedom to be bored without panicking. Freedom to enjoy simple life again. Freedom to sit with yourself and feel okay. And if that feels difficult right now, that's okay. You don't need to fix everything today. You don't need a perfect routine tomorrow morning. You don't need to suddenly become someone with endless discipline. Start smaller than that. Much smaller. Maybe tomorrow morning, don't check your phone immediately. Maybe eat one meal without a screen. Maybe go outside for 10 minutes with nothing in your hand. Maybe sit in silence for 5 minutes before sleeping. Maybe notice every time your hand reaches automatically for your phone and pause. That pause matters more than you think. Because every pause reminds your brain, I'm in charge now. Not the habit, not the craving, not the algorithm, me. And those tiny moments build into something powerful. A calmer mind, a stronger attention span, a healthier relationship with pleasure, and a life that feels more real while you're inside it. So if lately you've been feeling mentally tired, distracted, overstimulated, unable to focus, bored by everything, but also exhausted by everything, maybe your mind isn't asking for more stimulation. Maybe it's asking for less. Less noise, less scrolling, less constant reward. Less input, and more space. Space to think, space to think, space to feel, space to notice, space to be human again. Because sometimes what feels like boredom is actually peace trying to return. And sometimes what feels empty at first becomes clarity when you stay with it long enough. Your attention can heal, your focus can heal, your mind can feel calm again. And maybe the version of you that feels present, focused, peaceful, and alive isn't gone. Maybe it's just been buried under too much noise. And maybe, little by little, you're about to find it again. If you enjoyed this episode, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell so you don't miss an episode.